right, everybody. This is the show you've been waiting for. This is the Cain Stevens Wrestlemania Super Show, and I'm telling you guys, I am completely pumped about this year's Wrestlemania. I decided to be my alter ego. This is a new alter ego of mine. This is the Vince McMahon, chairman of the Board Podcastico character. I only because I had a blazer and I decided what the heck I'm gonna wear it. But the good thing is that you guys don't get to see what I'm wearing, underneath. Like I might not have like any underwear or anything on from the blazer down. So that's the best
So it
part.
really is like Vince McMahon.
Yeah, it really is. Except I'm not like harassing an intern or something and making her do things.
Or
So I want
crapping
to
on her
bring on
head.
my guests. I want to bring Kris back from the Elgant Sasquatch. He is looking fabulous with with this outfit that he's got on. And my man,
It's the $1 million tux. Get it right.
it is the $1 million tux. And then I've got
Everybody has a price.
a new friend on the show. I feel like him and I are basically best friends now. We've been texting back and forth over wrestling and everything, and it's like, man, I feel like I'm talking to my best friend. But I've got a new guy on here. He is a fellow podcaster. I believe he does horror and stuff like that. I think you direct some horror and everything. So let's bring on Nico Nice as well, everybody. I'm going to give you all a round of applause. The studio crowd and everybody, they're laughing and cheering at home.
Well, thank you for having me on. I absolutely appreciate it. I've been like hyped for this for all week for this show.
Yeah, same here, man. It's awesome to have like-minded people, around my age. We all love wrestling. We all love wrestling for our own reasons. But we all kind of grew up in that amazing era of wrestling, right? Where it was kind of cartoonish, but man, like the characters were just downright awesome, weren't they?
I mean, really, how I got into it was I was living in New York in the Bronx. So, we only had just like the couple of channels back then, back in the 80s. And Channel 5 wasn't Fox yet. It was still like a local affiliate just for whatever. And I'd always be watching Saturday morning cartoons, 5 years old, mind you. And my mom just one day happened to be flipping through the channels that morning and she found Wrestling Superstars from WWF. And she's like, you know what? Maybe you should watch this because I used to watch this when I was a little girl. So I was like, all right. And that's when I first got my first exposure to like these characters of Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, the Iron Sheik. And from that moment on, I've always to this day, it's been nonstop. Even after she died in '99, like during the Attitude Era, because like her favorite wrestler before she died was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
And she hated The Rock. So like it's just funny to me. I was just talking to my girlfriend about it before, how she never got to see how big The Rock actually became.
Yeah.
But we were discussing like if she was still here, like she'd probably be planning our WrestleMania watch party that we're doing next week, and she'd be wearing her Stone Cold t-shirts and whatever. But I did try to stop watching it for like I couldn't though. But to me, it's like it's still like our thing that we watched. Like we would watch Raw every Monday. She'd record it. We'd watch it right after.
Yeah.
And like that was like our thing. So like to me, wrestling has always been a very special, event for me because of that. So that's how I got into it, was as a little kid. And I was a Hulkamaniac. I'm sure you both were too. Or nah, Chris, no.
I hate, to be honest with you, I didn't like Hulk. I was a Ted DiBiase fan.
Yeah.
I always like the heels. I don't know. I'm weird like that, but
I was always down for Jake the Snake, and
I like those.
Yeah,
I like them too. Yeah.
When the Warrior came through, though, I'm gonna be honest, I was hooked. I mean, I know that like as we get older, we kind of understand that he wasn't a great wrestler, right? But man, dude came running in gassed, right? I mean, dude came blasted to the ring. He's flying across there. He beat Hulk Hogan. And it was just like, this guy was bigger than life to me. So, I mean, I had the, Ultimate Warrior little buddy, deal. And I was wrestling him all the time. And then I'd get the Hulk one and beat the crap out of him. So, I mean, we just grew up in a great time, man.
Nico always got the A shows. And when they would do the house shows, we ended up getting like the B or C shows.
Yeah.
And King, you missed out. What was this? This was 1990, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been 91. The year that Ultimate Warrior was fighting Andre the Giant, they came through Lincoln.
Wow.
And that was the main event of that house show. and I was there. My mom got me tickets. That match lasted 3.5 minutes.
Yep.
That match, and it was funny later on, like probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I ran across that same match out of Madison Square Garden, and it was the same exact thing. It took Andre longer to get to the ring than what the actual match was.
Yeah,
and
did they have to, like cart him out like they were doing with Bobby the Brain
just
Heenan?
about. If he couldn't hold on to something, he wasn't standing up straight or standing up at all.
Well, his back was like pretty rocked at that point, right? It was even like worse than what it was during.
Yeah. This was like, I want to say maybe the last, like, I want to say 6 months of his career with the WWE, and then it was it was bad. But I got to see Andre the Giant wrestle one time, and I was happy.
It's funny you brought that up because I've only ever been to one house show, and it was back like during the Wrestlemania 3 era, where it was, I think, one of like the go home house shows for this, as my girlfriend is sitting in the corner over here and making fun of me. As she's walking by, the main event was Roddy Piper. Oh my God, it was Roddy Piper, and I forgot who the other two, but it was like against Adrian Adonis and I want to say Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. But it was like that was the only house show I ever went to. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been to numerous Raws, SmackDowns. The only pay-per-views I've really been to, because Kris, you know, because like you're in the area closer to I am, and your thing just fell behind you.
Yeah.
Was SummerSlam was always like the bigger pay-per-view that I've always, because it was always at the Meadowlands, because we used to go all the time. But Backlash and Extreme Rules, because they were always in Jersey. So I mean, those I've been to. Never got the chance to see a Wrestlemania live. Although I did get to see Wrestlemania 2 at the theater next to MSG on closed circuit. That's how old I am.
Awesome. Wasn't that the one that was like broadcast from like 17 different locations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's experiences we didn't get in the Midwest. We didn't get the closed circuit wrestling. That would still be cool to me because you would be feeling all the excitement from the people around you, right? I mean, you had to have been digging it.
Oh, it was. I mean, to me, it was like the same thing as actually being there for that. But until I actually got to go to like that first SummerSlam to actually see Hulk Hogan and Beefcake against Macho Man and Zeus in the main event of that, wow. You know, like that was, yeah.
I mean, we didn't get a Monday night show until it was the late 90s. I think it was like 98, 99. WCW came through one time.
Yep.
And that was it. We didn't get anything in Nebraska. It was terrible. It was like a wasteland, which is garbage. But now it's a little different. Now they got some higher end arenas and they're getting shows right and left now. But
yeah, the house shows that I've been to here, like the main events has always sucked. Like it was just like they just threw a couple people together who, you know, as a tag team, like Randy Orton and somebody, and of course we're excited because they're there. But it's like they're not taking it that seriously. It's like there's no real heat to it or anything. So I would love to be in you guys as part of the country, which is on the East Coast. You guys are right there, smack, you know, right, pretty darn close. I mean, not smack dab, but close to where Wrestlemania is going to be. Like, it's got to be exciting, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys have read like Mankind's book and like back when they were releasing like their autobiographies, where they talked about where my area where I live at now in Scranton, they used to do shows at the CYC. So it would be like those little smaller house shows where you can meet them. I wasn't here. I was still living in Jersey at that time, but they actually stopped doing those shows here in that little rec center, basically, because the Catholic like diocese, I guess, like bought the building, and they had a problem because that was during like the Attitude Era when, you know, they were saying "suck it" and, you know, Austin flipping the middle fingers. So I mean, at that point, it was getting bigger than these little, you know, little rec center areas. So like now, like, you know, we're lucky because like the arena here, the Mohegan Sun Arena in Wilkes-Barre, like in May and November, May is always SmackDown, November is always Raw. We get both here. We don't get house shows here anymore. It's always TV when it's here.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the you know, where they're taking wrestling right now. I think it's an exciting time because I feel like finally Vince is out of the seat and we're getting rid of some of these ridiculous moves he was making. You know, all these stupid changes and all this, and it's starting to look like the Attitude Era again. I mean, that you and I were talking, Nico, that Rock segment with Cody was absolute Attitude Era stuff. It was outrageous, and I loved it so much, man.
I feel like, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, what are we going to call this era? And I honestly think like the best name for, and I've been seeing it popping up online too. This is 100% the Renaissance era for
Yeah.
wrestling right now. It's like a whole new ball game. I mean, now it's almost like back to the 80s, where really, when you think about it, there's more than just the WWE. There's TNA, there's New Japan, there's what's the other one? The
Right.
and then of course AEW, but that's like a whole
Yeah,
other topic for why like
yeah,
they're not going to
we
be.
don't count that one. We don't count that
So
one.
I do want to drop the hot take real quick
Yeah,
before we,
please
because I know
do.
we're going to get, so bear in mind when I say this, I'm going to go somewhere with it. So I feel like the current run that WWE is on, because right now it's the hottest that it's ever been since the Attitude Era, has to go back to Jack Perry.
Okay.
And here's why. So we all know about the infamous, wait, because Kris knows where I'm going with this. So the infamous All In Wembley incident that happened, from that smug little prick, and I'm sorry if you have to bleep that out, that's fine, but that smug little prick had to get into the camera and say, "Real glass, cry me a river." That was like the butterfly effect, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. When a butterfly flaps its wings on one side of the world, it can cause a tsunami or hurricane or tidal wave or something, right? That little bit will forever be known as the Jungle Boy effect going forward, for however anything turns out with this, because that caused the altercation with CM Punk backstage, where Tony Khan, quote unquote, feared for his life, causing him to release CM Punk, which I'm sure he didn't even think that CM Punk was going to do what he did by going back to the WWE at the Survivor Series. He also lost Jade Cargill in the process. There's already rumors that he's going to lose Ricky Starks, who Ricky Starks will be a megastar over there on the WWE. Like, there's no doubt about
Yeah,
it.
star man.
But CM Punk gets into the Royal Rumble, gets hurt with the Future Shock DDT from Drew McIntyre because he took it wrong when he took the bump. But it led to them calling an audible where now The Rock came back. Cody Rhodes is probably going to finish the story, which we'll get into here momentarily. And you have not one, but two mega main events for both nights. And they're red hot. They're selling out whether it's a house show, whether it's Raw, whether it's SmackDown, whether it's a PLE. They're selling out. Their merchandise sales are through the roof. CM Punk alone on Monday night, when he had that little segment, which was fucking fantastic, by the way, with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, he drew the combined audience of both Dynamite and Collision, and probably Rampage by himself with that. But this all goes back to the fact that Jack Perry had to open his mouth and look at the ramifications of this. WWE is, and I'm sure Tony Khan is like kicking himself in the balls for this, for letting this all happen.
He doesn't care.
Can
He
you
doesn't
imagine?
care.
Can you imagine Tony in the background? Like snorting, cutting another line of coke or something.
Oh my god! I refer to him as Tony Yayo because he's like, he always looks coked out of his gourd.
And then Jack Perry and
what is,
them are like fighting around him. Like,
what does Cornette call him? Tony the Snowman.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Well, I
But
mean,
yeah, that's my take. I mean, think about it. If that never happened, I mean, it still would have been hot. But I think the long, burning ramifications after that little event. Look at what happened.
Exactly.
see, I thought MJF was going to be the big smoking gun. I thought MJF was going to come ruin Cody. That's my hot take, and I'm probably wrong. I feel like MJF is going to come storming in there and ruin Cody's moment like a true heel would. You know what I mean? Like, that would be the ultimate heel move, to move over to WWE and say, F you, Cody. You're not getting
Something came out yesterday, didn't it? That he resigned, right, with AEW, like quietly resigned, like a short term.
If that's the case, I didn't hear anything about that. I actually thought he was going to show up at the Rumble, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how injured he actually was, and
no, he's pretty injured.
Yeah,
he's pretty hurt.
Yeah,
it kind of
Which
sucks.
I actually do have a funny MJF story for later if you guys want. It was from Wrestlemania. If you do want to hear it.
I know about this one. This one was great.
Tell it now, man. Let's hear it. We're already
all right. So it was my girlfriend and I went to Wrestlemania. We went for the weekend. It was a Friday, Saturday, and then Friday we got most of our autographs. Like, we got to meet like Louis Diamond Phillips. We got to meet the cast of the Lost Boys. Like, it was great. But MJF was only there on Saturday.
Hold on, Nico. For who people that don't live in the tri-state area in New Jersey, Monster Mania is this big horror convention that happens twice a year up here, and at least in New Jersey, and then there's a couple other little ones. But yeah, that's just for clarification ones.
I mean, like the headliner for that show was Kiefer Sutherland. Like they get like big people for like the Monster Mania. Like this past one, who was at the past one? Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Katie Seagal was at this one. John Lovitz was at the past one.
Yeah.
But he typically
gets.
The next one is like Robert Englund, Clyde Barker on his final, farewell tour for horror cons.
Yeah, exactly.
But he usually gets wrestlers Dave, to show up as guests. So they had MJF for Saturday only. And we all know he stays in character no matter what. I was the only person that didn't get roasted at the show. And here's why. So my girlfriend and I are online, we're waiting to meet him, and she's like, so who's this guy again? I'm like, he's MJF. And she's like, where is he from? I'm like, he's on AEW. She's like, oh, we don't watch that one. I'm like, I know, but I like him because he's really the only one that's over there that's like, I'm like, remember what he looks like, because you're going to see him on WWE at some point. So there was a lady before me that actually silenced MJF. And this is how. She paid her money to have a giant glittery purple dildo signed by MJF. And he was stunned. He was like, so he signs it, and she sits down for the picture with him. And he goes, he had to think of something because he had to stay in character, but he was like stunned. He was like, make sure you think of me when you use that, you skank. And she was like, oh, that was the plan, Max. And she kissed him on the cheek and walked away. I sat down and I'm like, hi. He was just like, he looked at me. He's like, dude, he's like, I got to be honest. He broke character. He's like, I got to be honest. He's like, his exact words. He goes, I've signed some fucked up shit. He's like, I've never signed a purple dildo before. He was like stunned. So we took the picture, and even then, like, he's making a face, but like you could tell he was like completely shocked that this woman silenced MJF.
That's so wild, man. And you were right behind it. I mean, you were the next guy talking to Maxwell, about all this stuff, man. I mean, that's so crazy. And he broke character. I love it, man. And that dude is in character all the time. I mean, he's flipping off kids. He's telling old people they're ugly. He's doing everything that he can.
Yeah.
Man.
And he was doing that, right, Kris? Don't we have what you call it? There was memes from that.
Oh, constantly.
He was like, I'm mingling with the pores and
yeah, exactly. The faces that he was making, like there was one where he was in the middle of a crowd, and the face he would make, he's like, I'm surrounded by the pores, and I lost my shit.
There was one where because some people were posting like the pro photos with him. There was one where it was a little kid like standing next to him, and like he's looking at the little kid and he's putting his middle finger right in the kid's face like that in the pro photo. For another one, there was a husband and a wife, and like the wife is kind of heavy set, and she was next to him, and he's like this holding his nose.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was hilarious.
Well, I can't wait to see him come to the WWE. It's going to happen, everybody.
I'm going to make my hot take with him. If he comes, it's going to be the Raw after Mania. It won't be at Mania. It's going to be after. Because, they always like to save like big debuts for the Raw after.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to spend too much time on that tomato can they call AEW, but I will say this. They're really draining the well, man, and the fans of AEW, I don't mean to go after them, but it's like when I read some of the threads that they say,
the neckbeards, they really
they're so
are
ridiculous. They're like,
really, you know what though? Here's what I will say, and then we can, if I'm Triple H, so besides MJF and Ricky Starks, I would probably be going after FTR to get them back to come home. The women's division, I would definitely take Kris Statlander, because she could be a megastar. Plus, the story's already built in with her and Jade Cargill to have that match when that time comes.
I
would probably, even if I'm going to stay in the women's division, I'd probably take either Jamie Hayter or maybe even like Thunder Rosa. I think they would do well over there.
100%.
100% get Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs. Those guys would be like Triple H would do wonders. Wardlow needs to get the hell out of AEW right now.
Yep.
They're not booking him correctly.
No.
They
were for a while.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah, they had a nice little run there, and then it went. I mean, they were actually Powerhouse Hobbs too. Those guys together, they deserve to be in the WWE where they truly use a big man like that, like the way they're supposed to be, don't they? I mean, they
I
just
would I would also
use
say
them.
too, Hook and NXT would do wonders too.
Yeah.
Build him up. He's another. I mean, he. I don't think he's main roster, but he would definitely be perfect on NXT. At least to kind of get more, because I'm sure Taz is still friendly with Triple H and with those guys. There was somebody else I said too that we could. I mean, for a while it was maybe the Acclaim, but I don't know. I think like that gimmick is kind of
Oh,
run its
hundred
course with
percent.
the scissoring, and
Yeah.
although the Guns, I would bring all three of them back. We'll get Billy Gunn and get his two, because his two kids over there would be mega stars in the tag team division. If
I would
I mean,
rather
think
see,
about it.
I'd rather see them than Pretty Deadly. Those guys.
Oh, seriously, but at least like the Guns have like the charisma. They have like they're learning from their old man, and he
Yeah,
was one of the biggest stars of the Attitude Era. But
absolutely.
but you're right.
Gonna
Enough
bring
about
them
that.
all home,
Tomato.
man. Everybody's coming home to the WWE now that they're back. They're kind of they had their little run in AEW, and now I'm telling you, man. I mean, I've already seen the rumors of all the stars that are going to be making the move here. Their contracts are almost up.
Well, Ricky Starks has been the one that's been like, that's why he's been jobbing on TV, because he's on his way out. So
Yeah.
he's doing the honors now. So
Yep.
so he's definitely coming at some point.
Well, let's get into the card a little bit, man. I mean, so we have 2 nights of bliss. We have 2 nights of WrestleMania, which is the best part, right? I mean, I love it because WrestleMania is always around my birthday. My birthday's on April 6th.
Oh,
And so,
perfect.
it's
Nice.
like the best present every year because it's right around there, Like the only present I never got was that someone actually sending me to WrestleMania. So if I have any listeners out there who are rich, and I don't, probably, please send me to WrestleMania for free. But let's get into this card a little bit because there's quite a bit. I mean, I know this is all going to be. We're going to have this out like lightning quick because WrestleMania is like right on the way, so it's coming out, this week. So with that being said, I mean, there's a pretty good card that they already have set up. But I mean, obviously it's WrestleMania. There's going to be plenty of surprises, plenty of things going on. But let's talk about some of these matches that they've got going on. I mean, obviously we know the big one, right? We know the big tag match with Cody and Seth Rollins, The Rock, and Roman Reigns. I mean, this is an epic setup with The Rock getting back to The Rock we love, right? But like, let's kind of get into this a little bit. Like, I don't know how you guys want to go about it because there's so many great matches. But where do we want to start on this thing?
Why don't we start from the bottom? Like, make it like with
Okay.
like AJ and LA, or even like the one that just got announced last night with the somebody making her big debut.
Yeah, which was kind of crazy. First match on the card, and it's WrestleMania. That's
So I know Chris was like, oh, that's really interesting that they're gonna, and I have thoughts onto why it's perfect for that match, why that match absolutely works for all involved. So number one, Bianca gets her WrestleMania match because she was kind of floundering, figuring out where her spot was going to be. They've been building up with her and Naomi being like a tag team at some point, but obviously the numbers game with Damage Control with those three, they needed one more person. The obvious choice was Jade Cargill. So I like it because, one, again, it gets Bianca her match. It keeps her undefeated. Her undefeated streak will stay because there's no way they're going to let Jade lose her debut match. It plants the seeds because I'm sure Jade's going to be the one to get the win. She'll get the pin. She'll get the spotlight, and it's going to plant the seeds for either Bianca or Jade to turn heel. That's going to lead to their match eventually either at SummerSlam or next year's WrestleMania, because we both know, all three of us know, Triple H loves his long-term storytelling, right? The only other thing I see is if they're going to pull the trigger at SummerSlam for Bianca and Jade, Jade's going to be the one that's going to beat Rhea next WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's a hot take right there. That's another hot take. What do you think about that, Chris?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. This kind of reminds me of when the Big Show made a WCW debut on first match. He wins the world heavyweight title from Hogan. That's what it reminds me of. But Cargill actually has some talent. I would love to see a Cargill Bianca match sometime down the road. I think that would depend because like right now, Cargill is in the Charlotte Flair mode where she would be a good baby face, but an even better heel. Because she already has that look like I'm already better than you no matter what I do, and I haven't wrestled a minute. That's the vibe I'm already getting from her. So I can see her turning heel at some point, probably about 3 to 4 months from now, and having that run, and I could see that easily. But yeah, I would definitely love to see that. I'd also kind of like to see her go up against Bayley. That would be a good combination because Bayley's a really good worker, and I think she would get the most out of Jade and her limited skills, I guess you want to call it.
And it's funny because like I saw a lot of people were upset that it's not Tiffany Stratton versus Bianca because that was the match, which I agree. I don't. I love Tiffany Stratton. That she's going to be a megastar already. She's already a megastar, but I don't think it's time yet to pull the trigger on her to kind of have that type of moment. SummerSlam's going to be like her full coming out party. I feel like I know the Elimination Chamber was like a taste of what she can do, but I think SummerSlam is going to be like her big like singles moment. That's going to I think it's going to be Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley at SummerSlam. But
I feel that.
but also too, this also proved this is how you debut somebody and make them look like a megastar, unlike how they did with Mercedes Moné. Because that went down like a wet fart in church. How
you got more press from when other people from other companies come to see you. That got more press than her actual debut, which is kind of sad.
And even if you paid attention to the promo last night, that she was like taking shots at them, talking about their women's roster versus anybody else's, which is true.
Right.
WWE women's roster is completely stacked.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Well, they might be by they, I mean, the tomato can might be the worst at unveiling people and like surprises of any company I've ever seen, to be honest. Like a major company like WCW had its moments where obviously, they had some pretty big unveiling. I mean, look at NWO, for example. That was a massive, but I'm saying AEW has not had that thing. What?
Or I was going to say, or even go back to the Lex Luger one when
I was going to say when he came out of nowhere, yeah,
because he was on both shows, and because Raw was taped.
Rick Rude,
yeah,
Rick
that
Rude
too.
The same thing too. Same night, he was on both shows, same night.
Exactly.
Medusa also, right? Medusa went over there.
Yeah,
and
the belt,
the infamous dropping the title in the trash can.
That's what I mean. They just don't have it going on, but they do in the WWE. They're just really good at unveiling people and giving the big surprise, giving the people what they want. And we're talking about, Jade Cargill. I think we're going to get the rival and the this thing between her and Bianca where we've just instantly thought to ourselves it's going to happen, right? Like we want this match. I think we're going to get it sooner than we think. I think we're probably going to get it in some.
How's this for a hot take? Is it possibly already because that moment at the Rumble when they were face to face? Is it fair to say that this could possibly be like the women's version of The Rock and Stone Cold, like a forever rivalry? That's going to be like no matter who's face, who's heel, these two are always going to make magic together.
Yeah,
I can see that. I can see that in a heartbeat.
I think you're onto something there. I keep wondering where the heck what is with Alexa Bliss? I mean, did she have a kid or something?
So yeah, she had a baby. She's somebody asked her like on what's it called, X now? It's not even Twitter, it's X.
It's Twitter.
It's Twitter, but I mean X I guess is more appropriate since we see all the other stuff that would equal out to an X on there. That she said she's coming back. She's staying and she's getting back into wrestling shape. So there's a possibility she might come out on the Monday after.
Yeah, I think so. I think that we're really close to Alexa Bliss coming back. I wouldn't mind seeing a little, her battling Liv for a while. I think that's always fun. I don't know.
I can't stand Liv Morgan. Liv mid-card. She should go to AEW.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I'd like to see her pummel Liv a little bit. I hated when she was the champ.
Listen, she's from Bergen County where I grew up. I don't claim her as a Jersey person. Liv Morgan. I don't like her. So anyway, what's the next match that's on the card?
Yeah. So, we're talking that. What else do we have for night one? We have LA Knight and AJ Styles, right? That's happening, correct?
So, Kris, you want to take this one first because I have my opinion on this one.
Man, like they really put out LA Knight's fire. Super, like he was hot. Like, and he doesn't have a belt for some reason, which I understand they want to keep Gunther's streak going until they find the right opponent. But for somebody with that much going for him, they've done nothing with them. They got him on basically a pre-match show, a pre-show match with AJ, who also has basically fallen off the map too. He's getting no push at all. It kills me because like you have your whole stadium chanting his saying, and they're not doing anything with it. They're just letting him flounder, and it's just I'm just trying to figure out. Like I understand that they got the Rock and that thing going on, but I don't know what they're doing with him. I really don't know what they're doing with them anymore.
See, on the flip side, I try to look at the positives out of a negative. I was also upset that it's not going to be LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the U.S. title because that was pretty much like the most money match that could have happened, and LA Knight would have had his Wrestlemania moment there. However, the fact that he's going up against a vet like AJ Styles, and AJ is doing everything now because AJ is such a professional to put over LA Knight. I have a feeling this might be one of the sleeper matches of WrestleMania. And I think really, if anything, this might be just like one more test for LA Knight. Too many abbreviations for the names here, but I think LA Knight's gonna take the win on this one. They'll probably have one more match at the Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash paper with PLE after the fact. But I think if anything, that entire Philly crowd is going to be like hot behind LA Knight the entire match.
That is going to be the loudest you'll ever hear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be able to hear it from Jersey. It's going to be crazy.
Well, and you had mentioned Logan Paul, and I want to get into that. I want to say something about Logan Paul. I know there's a lot of people that hate Logan Paul, but I'm going to be honest with you. I've kind of become a fan the more and more I watch him, and this is why. It's not his move set, but this guy is a worker, man. I mean, this guy is there. He's playing the heel card so well, and he gets heat immediately from people the second everybody sees his stupid face walking out there. I mean, this guy is doing it 100%. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm now a Logan Paul fan, and I wasn't a fan of anything he did before until he started doing what he's been doing lately.
There is only one thing that he's done in WWE that I hated, and that was at the Rumble spot with him and Ricochet. I thought it was stupid, but everything else, like he has it for somebody who's come in, not really trained, not really grew up in this, to get it as fast as he has and get that kind of heat. You can't pay for something like that. It's perfect. Like, so if he was to ever become a full-time wrestler, hands down, he would be the best heel in that company.
So for me, like because I guess I'm old because I'm older. I grew up like watching this product for over 40 years now. To be honest with you, I've been watching wrestling. He's got it. I don't like him as a person, but I'm immediately interested in his matches. I'm immediately interested in his promos. He took to this like a fly to shed. There's no other way to put it. He was like tailor made for professional wrestling.
He took to it like Kurt Angle did when he first started.
Right.
Kurt Angle
now
picked it up real quick.
By my nature, I don't like. I think that streamers and influencers is a joke. I don't think that's not real. Whatever, but again, that's the age we live in, where technology and these people get famous doing YouTube and TikTok, whatever. But this guy and I would definitely say Bad Bunny, these two, like
100%.
I don't know 100%. Where they came from with this, but like they 100% take it seriously. Like to Logan Paul, like this isn't like a hobby. Like he 100% is invested in this.
Yep.
And he's honestly, that's going to be another match. I feel like that's going to steal. I mean, the whole card is really going to steal the show. But like this is going to be another banger of a match. Him and Randy and KO are going to put on a banger. I personally think Logan Paul's going to walk out of there with the title.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Don't pull it off him yet because he's perfect as like the heel U.S. champion.
I would
Save
love,
that.
I would love to see Kevin Owens win it personally.
I mean, I would
I'm
too, but I think the money is to keep it on Logan Paul now,
Yeah.
and then have LA Knight have that SummerSlam moment when he beats him for the U.S. title at that point. But Logan Paul is money and he's I'm all in. Not to quote the other guys, but I'm all in with Logan Paul. This guy is the goods. My girlfriend hates him, thinks he's a trash, and I'm like, yeah, but you're not getting it because he's a natural heel.
Right.
That's what's perfect about it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, though, I think that he is going to win. I think there's going to be some sort of interference. Maybe a big, maybe his brother comes in or something. Somebody comes in and helps him, gives him the brass knucks. He does the thing. Maybe they even hit him with the brass knucks, and then we think that it's over. But I'm telling you, something's going to happen with some sort of smoke and mirrors is going to happen with this match, and he's going to take it.
It'll be a schmoz. It'll be the schmoz. But there's one thing I do want to say real quick about this match before we move on to the next one. I think it's this is the testament of Triple H versus Vinnie Mac. Vinnie Mac would have had KO and Randy basically barroom brawling, and instead they're not, because that's a tired trope in wrestling. And I know sometimes the formula, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But I think the fact that they're actually getting along is perfect.
So we're going to take a little breather. I hope that you guys stick around and listen to the commercials. We got the man, the myth himself here, the Elgant Sasquatch, looking so elegant himself. We're going to run the commercial and talk about sponsors when we come back.
Hey there, grooming gurus. We've got something wild for you today.
That's right, folks. Get ready to tame the untamed with products that redefine the beard game. Introducing the Elgant Sasquatch Grooming Company.
Elegant Sasquatch? That sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it?
Well, grooming should be an adventure, my friend, and with these products, you'll embark on a journey to the grooming wilderness.
So what makes the Elegant Sasquatch so unique?
It's all about taking your beard from beastly to beautifully wild. Picture this. You wake up and your beard looks like it just got back from a spa day. That's the magic of their high-end beard balms.
Spa day for the beard? Sign me up. And let's not forget their beard butters and oils. It's like giving your beard a tropical vacation. I'm talking about a beach party for your facial hair.
A beach party for the beard. This company's got the best marketing ever.
Oh, but we're not done yet, folks. The Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company also has beard washes that make shower time a majestic experience.
Showering with Sasquatch? That sounds like a reality show.
It does, but seriously, listeners, if you want to sophisticate your outer beast, head over to elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and use the code SUPERSHOW at checkout for an exclusive discount of 20% off.
You can also find them on Facebook and Instagram. Check them out, like them, and while you're at it, tell them the Super Show sent you.
All right, so we're back, everybody. You heard the Elegant Sasquatch commercial. We got a new one coming up here pretty soon. I know how you guys love.
Game, before we go any further, my Etsy shop, 50% off of everything on my Etsy shop going until, I want to say 2 more weeks. So definitely check me out, elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com.
Awesome. Yeah, a Wrestlemania special, man, for all you people out there. If you're listening to this show, you're getting it right here, folks. And then we've also got Roots Music Shop here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Get your instruments there. Get your instruments fixed if they're broken. Go to Sly Ink Tattoo with Bryce. Quit going to Becky's Boring Ink Emporium and start going to see Bryce. And then we have, last but not least, we have Liberty Contracting. Stan Liberty is a guitar virtuoso, to be honest with you. This dude rocks. He's in Pasty Jenny, but he also has a concrete company. And if you guys need a patio or something, go see him. So, all right, guys. So we're back with the elegant man himself, Chris Davis. We've got Nico Nice up in here, and we are talking everything Wrestlemania that we can think of in one sitting. I mean, well, this should be like a 9-hour show, like a marathon.
Basically.
But
17 parts.
So we're going down the card here. We're probably not going to be able to cover the whole card.
Let's just get to the main event night one.
Yeah. Because I do want to get to you guys' favorite WrestleMania moments, and I want to talk to you guys about those, and then share my favorite one as we get there. So, obviously there's a ton of matches. I do want to say that, quickly, that we did mention Logan Paul, but when we're talking about influencers, okay, there's a tale of an influencer that I wish would completely go away, which is Grayson Waller, everybody.
Yes.
I wish this guy would go away immediately, but I don't know what you guys think about this guy.
So I get the angle that they did yesterday. I don't like the fact that Waller and Theory are in that 6-pack ladder match. That really should have been the Street Profits. For some reason, they're very gung ho on this. Was it the final conflict? Is that the final testament? I don't even know, because that's, again, it's not good. Listen, Karrion Kross, it's never going to happen. He's not going to get over. He's not going to be a megastar. If they were ever going to do this, it would have been in NXT. And really, I think he's one that should probably go over to the other side too. He would flourish over there. But I think it was kind of crappy that the Profits did the job for Waller and Theory, and they're the ones that got into that match. Even though, to be honest, it's going to be Awesome Truth that's going to win that. That's the match.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. If they were really smart, if this is what I would do if I was them. But again, I'm not them. Because our Truth is like the wild card, the X factor, and like the comedic factor. Why not have him just grab one of the sets of titles, like the Raw ones, and have somebody else grab like the SmackDown ones instead? This way, you split the titles up again, and each show has their their tag team champions again.
Well, in the match we're talking about, for you kids that aren't looking at the card, is there's a massive ladder match, guys, and this is a ladder match for the tag team championship. We've got Finn Balor and Damian Priest. We've got DIY. We've got Awesome Truth. We've got New Day. We've got New Catch Republic, and we've got Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, right? So this is going to be a massive match. Yes, I think that the Street Profits absolutely should have been in there. I don't know why they're not getting a push like they were before. Who knows? But
I have a feeling that if the rumor, because there's been rumored that Bianca and Tez are going to be a heel duo, I think that would probably be the bet. Like Tez, it's time to pull the trigger on Tez. He's 100% the Shawn Michaels of that. And Angelo Dawkins is great too. Don't get me wrong, but Tez is like a megastar waiting to explode, and they got
to be honest with you. I think they actually missed the boat on that. They should have did that like 6 months ago,
right?
Like before they joined the Hurt Profits or whatever it was called. They should have made him a superstar, because they've basically done nothing with him since. And yeah, they should have did this like 6-7 months ago.
So what was the deal with I saw, speaking of ladder matches, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the Hardy Boys a little bit. I know that they showed up. What was it? It was Matt Hardy showed up at one of the big shows, and fans were going nuts, and he was signing autographs. And of course, his excuse was completely ridiculous. Like, oh, they were just in town, and my wife had some friends get a hold of me, and pretty soon it was like a thing, like, oh, you should just come. But I don't know. Do you think there's anything to that? Do you think we're going to see the Hardys back in the WWE doing ladder matches?
I hope not. I really hope not.
I hope not. And if they sign anything, it should be like a Legends deal where I think, because they're them going into the Hall of Fame, it's long overdue, and I think they're probably going to end their careers with WWE at some point. They're just for like one last little hurrah, but I don't think ladder matches shouldn't be it.
No. Yeah, Jeff can't wrestle anymore. He hurts himself constantly.
Yep.
After that last move, he should retire. And it was painful watching him hurt himself off that. I didn't get what move it was, but it just looked horrible.
So, Cain, real quick, because I know we want to get through the rest of the card. So I'll bring up, because some of the card actually ties into the main events.
Yeah.
For this. So the Bailey Io Sky, I feel like the build for that really hasn't been the greatest, I think, out of any match, which honestly, I think that one's going to go either way.
I have a feeling that one's going to be one of those matches that they put in between, like the cool off matches that they normally have. I have a feeling that's what it is, where something big is going to happen, but you're not going to notice it because all your energy was spent on the previous match, and then you got the main event going ahead of it.
Well, and
And
then
then
we've
the
got
other women's match. I'm
the
sorry,
other
go ahead.
women's match too. I'm just trying to look at this card. I'm trying to cover like the matches that I know people are, excited about. I know people are excited about We're talking about tag teams. We're talking about the Usos facing each other. I'm excited about that personally. I think that those guys are great workers. I think they're going to be great to watch. Obviously, I don't know. What do you guys love the Usos still? Or are you guys kind of like, is it kind of like a cold fish at this point?
Kane,
I'm
I gotta ask you, Kane, are you team Yeet or no Yeet? Because that's
I'm Team Yeet, bro. To be honest,
yeet all day.
yeah. God, I can't believe I just asked two grown men that question.
one of the grown men being me. I have
Yeah.
no idea what the hell Yeet means.
So
But I'm
yeet
down.
actually means to throw. That's all
Yeah.
it means. To throw
Yeah.
something is to yeet. That's it. That's it. But they
I
turned
had
it
no
into a
idea.
whole
I'm
thing.
glad we got clarification on that. I like to
There you
yeet
go.
all the time. I like to stuff my face with with anything that sits in front of me.
And he knows he lives in Jersey. We don't say eat, jeet.
No,
So that's what it
yeah,
sounds like to us.
Oh God.
I could
I mean,
go.
I was gonna say for the Usos for the main event thing, because I have a feeling if we can just kind of backtrack a little bit. So the Gunther Sammy match, we know Gunther's gonna win that one.
Right.
Let's be honest. Rhea Becky gonna be a banger, but Rhea's gonna walk out with the title. Like that's
You know what? Nia's gonna make Becky lose.
Yeah.
Oh, 100. And Liv Morgan's
I can see
there's
it now.
going to be a lot of like that one's going to have a schmoz too, where they're going to have Liv Morgan and everybody else get involved with that too.
Yep.
But okay, so the Usos, I think so. This is how it's going to lead into the main events.
Okay.
That's going to start the downfall of this, and I'm going to word this correctly, so this version of the Bloodline. The downfall begins with that match. That's going to be on Saturday. I don't think that's going to be a Sunday match.
Yeah,
There's a reason why, because we'll get into that. I think Jay's going to win that match because he's the bigger of the two. If we're being honest, because Jimmy's a stooge for Roman, or eventually he will be a stooge for The Rock also. Jay has fully established himself as he is main event Jey Uso. He's over with the crowd. I mean, shit, you got Pat McAfee getting winded and gassed doing his entrance with him when he comes out. Personally, he's going to be the guy that's going to dethrone Gunther at SummerSlam. That's the money match, is Jey Uso versus Gunther. And I think a lot of fans would be okay if it was Jay that did it.
Well, I know, I know wrestling
definitely-
fans care about streaks. Do we really care about belt streaks at this point? I mean, I personally don't. Like the last streak that I cared about was the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. I don't care who holds the belt. Well, like Roman holding the belt for 12,000 days or however long it is now. I really honestly don't care about any of that. So I wish they would take the belt off of Gunther at some point. I think he's doing great. I love the guy. He's bringing prestige back to the Intercontinental.
Love Gunther.
Gunther's like old school. Like, I mean, that he's another one that guy just gets it. Like,
I can see Gunther being world champ soon. Like,
so, yeah, that's why I think he's going to drop the title at SummerSlam to Jay, because eventually he's going to focus on whoever the world heavyweight champion is. Now, to go to that one, my prediction, I think McIntyre is going to beat Rollins.
Okay.
For that title. If McIntyre, because CM Punk's going to get involved in that match somehow. He's going to play a factor in the finish.
Oh yeah, he has to.
If, and this is a big if, I don't think it really matters when Damian Priest is going to cash in.
Yeah.
Because he gave the clue last night when he said maybe we got to start focusing on ourselves as individuals.
Yeah.
So I think either way he's going to cash in. If it's Seth Rollins that ends up winning that match, Priest wins the title. And if it's Drew McIntyre, he's going to have a failed cash in, I think.
Yeah. I can
But
see that.
He's definitely going to cash in one way or the other.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Then do you guys see the for night one or night two? I see it as a night one for sure. Is the Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, Dominic Mysterio, and Santos Escobar match? Honestly, that's a solid one nighter.
I see that as a pre-show.
I was gonna say that's a pre-show night two.
Pre-show.
And I gotta be honest, I really thought they were building towards a hair versus mask match between father and son.
Yeah.
But I guess because Ray's kind of getting up there, he needs, because Dragon Lee's gonna do most of the heavy lifting in that match.
Right.
Team. Um, I think Dominic and Santos get the win for that one though, because Dominic needs it more for more credibility to be a super heel with this.
Yeah, when they announced him and his dad going at it again, I'm like, did they just finish this already? Why are they going back to this well? Like,
And I think Carlito is going to play the spoiler for this, and he's going to turn heel because his face last night, like he looked like
yeah,
disappointed that he wasn't chosen. Honestly, I'm surprised it wasn't Andrade.
yeah.
They're not really
Carlito
utilizing.
should be a heel no matter what. He's a heel no matter what. Like until he gets rid of the Apple thing, the Apple gimmick, he'll never be a babyface ever.
Let's look at the plus side of this match, though. At least they're not taking Rey Mysterio's eye again and doing that whole thing.
Oh, with the ping pong ball.
Yeah, with the ping pong ball eye. Thank goodness we're not going that route this time, are we?
I'm also going to make a not a bold prediction, but I guess we can kind of see the writing on the wall. So they're probably going to have some type of like WrestleMania showcase match again, where whoever didn't, so we'll probably see like Tiffany Stratton will probably win the women's one, and then for the men probably Braun Breaker to kind of get them like, built up, because it's they have to like little by little get them built up. So I think that's where that's going to go. Although there's a good possibility that Braun Breaker wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on SmackDown the night before.
Yeah, I see that. I don't see anybody else beating him.
And then we get
now,
a little bit.
Are we on to the night one main event here? Finally,
yeah. Let's get to the main event. I mean, we've got to get to that main event now.
Okay.
So we've got. No, go ahead, Nico. You look more excited.
No, that was. Well, I mean, I got to be honest. The Rock is Kris knows for many years. My girlfriend refers to him as my husband at this point, because anytime he comes on TV for SmackDown Raw, I like just like he does, like the hair stand up on my arm. I don't care, face, heel, whatever. I've seen all his movies. Like I've been down with the Rock since day one, when he was Rocky Maivia. That being said, I don't think he's been better than with this final boss gimmick right now. This is like pure, like this is like next level heel. That being said, because it's going to tie into the main event, because they're going to kind of go concurrent with this.
Yep.
Rock and Roman are going to win the tag match. Seth's going to eat the pin. It won't be Cody, and it won't be Roman doing it. It's going to be the Rock pinning Seth. That's my prediction with that. So it'll obviously be Bloodline rules for night 2 for the main event. What I see happening, and I think we can all kind of see like the writings on the truck if we were paying attention on Monday night, I have a feeling that main event is going to be like an Avengers Endgame style run-in completely, where anybody who the Bloodline did dirty is going to come out to help Cody during that main event. So we could see Braun Strowman, KO can come out, Sammy can come out. But I have a feeling Cena and Stone Cold are going to get involved in that match too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I 100%. I completely agree with you there, Nico.
But tell us why, Nico. You and I were talking about this. They've been dropping some Easter eggs on some of this stuff, haven't they?
They have. They really have, and I think it's more. This is it's the 40th anniversary. You got to go big. I mean, they're not calling. I mean, the Roman numerals are XL. It's huge. It's extra large. This is the biggest WrestleMania. What better way to make an impact than to have, 2 of your Mount Rushmores coming out to help your new face of the company to take down like Thanos and his cronies.
Yeah.
I also see The Rock doing an even bigger beatdown to Roman after he loses that title.
Yeah.
Because he's basically like gift wrapping and bowling him like the match, and he's gonna lose it. I don't think they test fate and twice have Cody Rhodes lose back to back.
Right.
Because the crowd they'll turn.
You know what I want to see with this? I want to see The Rock and Stone Cold meet in the middle of the ring and just give that look, man. I mean, like, I might as well wear a diaper for this, because I will literally have a blowout if this happens, because I mean, it would be like my childhood coming back and just, oh my God, wouldn't that be incredible?
And Cena was on, what was it? Was it Fallon or Kimmel? It was one of them. He was promoting Ricky Stenicki, which is actually a pretty funny movie if you guys haven't seen it yet. Which, by the way, Genius, whoever did the casting for this to have an imaginary made-up character played by John Cena, who is somebody we all can't see,
Right.
which is brilliant on the filmmaker's part. He said he's free WrestleMania weekend,
It's happening, man.
so
We're getting
he's
an
coming.
unbelievable run.
And it has come out that they have reached out to Stone Cold too.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about. I mean, that hat, like you said, that's congruent to the other match. So then let's talk about when you roll into that massive. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give Cody his dream. You know, we're already kind of talking about it now, but on that next night, I mean, it's gonna be absolute mayhem. This is gonna be, I believe, Attitude Era mayhem like we've never seen before.
Yep.
Actually, we have seen.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I want to see after Roman loses. I want to see, because the way I see it is he's gonna basically lose the title, lose the bloodline, because the bloodline's going with The Rock. I want to see what they do. They turn him face then? Like, I mean, because like
That's been the plan.
he's
They've
at,
been
he's
waiting
at
to
the
turn him.
point where he's not going to have anything. He's not going to have anybody unless they bring up some other bloodline members that are not officially signed with the company right now, like the other Fatu folks that are on the
Jacob.
indie wise. Yeah, I can see him. Hey, now you got Backlash, you got the Rock's bloodline, you got Roman's bloodline. They're going at it. I could see them doing that, and that would be an epic pay-per-view right there. But I don't see them signing indie guys and then just bringing them right up to the main roster like that have no TV experience.
So the only issue with this, and this was also confirmed, The Rock is leaving in May because he's going to film that movie about the UFC fighter, and he should be back in time for SummerSlam to partake in that. I don't think they pull the trigger on Roman and Rock at that point, because they're gonna that's WrestleMania. There's no other.
But they can start planting the seeds though at SummerSlam.
My other question too to you guys, if and when Cody finishes the story and gets that title, and regardless of whether it's Rollins or McIntyre or Priest, who's going where as the champion?
This is true. I like if Priest wins it, he's staying on Raw. He's not going to SmackDown. If Drew goes there, if Drew wins it, he's probably going to go to SmackDown. I can see him being on SmackDown
because they typically do like the draft after WrestleMania, right? Like,
yeah.
But weren't they thinking about getting rid of that though, or are they still keeping it? Because they've been kind of doing the, having them show up on both shows. Are they getting rid of that? Is that more of a Vince thing, or is Triple H all for the draft?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
I mean, I like the idea of keeping it separate, to be honest with you. I mean, at this point, I mean, because remember back then the Attitude Era, like they were working both shows, where now their roster is so big that this split makes more sense that they can do that. Like he said. I mean, I could see Cody going to SmackDown too, to be honest with you. I mean, because CM Punk is already on Raw. He's a big, going to be like the big face of Raw.
Yeah.
So then they just swap Seth with Roman, so Roman goes to Raw, tries to go after that belt. Then is that what it is?
I think wherever The Rock is going to be is where Roman's going to be.
Yeah. Are they going to do him like they did Corbin? I mean, are we going to see broken Roman Reigns for a while? Where
you know what? That would be an awesome storyline. Now that he's lost everything and he doesn't know where to go, I would love to see that happen. Where he's, you see him like a month after, Mania, not shaven, looking disheveled. Paul Heyman's not with him. He doesn't know what to do. I would love to see that happen. Like basically a homeless Roman Reigns.
That's when you send him that product from the Elgant Sasquatch.
Yeah,
clean that beard up, Roman.
Exactly. Get him looking like $1 million.
I mean, I feel like what they're gonna do is if and when, I guess, because it's I don't want to say it's a guarantee, because last year was almost a guarantee and they didn't pull the trigger. If Roman does lose that title on Sunday night, Monday he's gonna get the beat down worse than Cody did, and that's how they're gonna write him off for a little while, so he can take his time, like relax and like whatever.
Yeah. What do they do with Paul Heyman at that point? I mean, does Paul Heyman abandon ship too, or does Paul Heyman?
No, I think he's because he's been talking up Solo in a lot of his interviews now that he's been doing for the Hall of Fame stuff. So he's probably going to
And he-
stick with the bloodline, but it's going to be the Rock's bloodline.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was also
also
talking
too,
to some. He was also a couple months ago talking to some other wrestlers, like other talent, and I'm trying to remember who it was off the top of my head. I forget who it is. I think it was like, I want to say LA Knight, but it wasn't LA Knight. I can't remember who it was. So
Right.
And one thing too, a lot of people forget that when Roman made The Rock acknowledge him as his tribal chief, Kris and I like looked at like the Samoan family tree that The Rock posted during the WrestleMania press event. You look, The Rock has the title of High Chief, which outranks the tribal chief. So every high chief needs a tribal chief below him to kind of like, it's almost like Tony Soprano and Silvio
Yeah.
and Paulie. Like, Tony's the head of the family, but then he's got like, his capos like kind of handling business on the street. And I don't think Roman realizes that. I mean, there's a reason why The Rock is calling himself the final boss.
Yeah.
Because he is. He ultimately is.
and
I mean,
more
if
than
we're
one
being
way.
honest, if things were different, the money match was Cody and The Rock one-on-one
Yes.
at this
Yep.
point.
Yeah,
Well, aren't-
and to be honest with you, that's what I thought they were going to do. They were going to have Cody and The Rock, Cody and The Rock night one, and Cody and Roman night two, because he was going to beat The Rock night one. That's what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
But
Don't you East Coasters? Don't you guys love that Paul Heyman is still doing his thing and still out? I mean,
yeah.
you gotta love.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's the best. He's the hero of the East Coast, man. He's really a hero to everybody. I mean, if he ran for president, I'd vote for Paul Heyman any day of the week.
I mean,
The
I
only one
wouldn't
that
go
could
that
cook
far.
Trump on the mic, man.
I would love to see him in some of those debates. That would be great.
So we're voting Paul Heyman for president, everybody. I'm
Yes. Paul Heyman 2028. Yes.
Yeah.